Channel 13, Big Board Sports with Rodger Weiland.
Up next on Big Board Sports, Week 10 of the NFL, Giants heavy favorites against Dan Reeves and the Falcons. The Bills were in Big D against the Cowboys, while the Jets were looking for a breakthrough game against the Raiders. Plus Super Bowl weekend in high school football, another championship for the University at Albany, and Steve Matthews is the new coach of the Conquest. And hi again, everybody. I'm Rodger Weiland. Welcome to our 30-minute edition of Big Board Sports on a night that the NFL is calling it Desperation Sunday. A lot of teams were in desperate needs of wins. Certainly that was the case for the Giants, but feeling very good about themselves coming into this one. Wins over the Vikings and the Jets. The G-Men were back to a 500 team. The only game on the schedule today that was a double-digit favorite, the Giants favored to beat the Falcons. Here we go. That's not a good start. Warwick Dunn, touchdown, 45 yards. 7-0. Now, the Giants would answer in the second quarter. Dorsey Levens, they give it to him, a 2-yard plunge, 7-7 at the half. Then, second half, again, not good. Remember, this is a third-string quarterback. Kurt Kittner looks and finds Justin Griffith. It's 14-7 quarter. Now 20-7, the Giants threatening. Tiki Barber does what he really does best this year, fumble the football. 4 Giant turnovers, 2 fumbles by Barber, 2 picks by Collins. Here's the clincher. T.J. Duckett, touchdown. Falcons win 27-7. A brutal loss for the Giants and win number 200 for former Giants coach Dan Reeves. Jim Fossil not happy.
We haven't played very well at home. We've had 3 ugly losses at home. Ugly, ugly losses. I didn't understand the fans being upset. I'm upset. I don't like it. And I knew that's what I was going to get when I came here if I didn't do well. Okay? So that's just the nature of the beast.
It was embarrassing today. I mean, I was embarrassed the way I played. I was embarrassed the way we played as an offense and turnovers and penalties and everything. But that's sometimes part of life in the NFL, and you got to be able to move on.
All right, the Jets were trying to move on. Desperate win. Yeah, they were in desperate need of a win in Oakland against the reeling Raiders. Chad Pennington at quarterback first quarter. This is not the start they wanted. This is Philip Buchanan to the house. 78 yards, touchdown, and the Jets fall behind 7-0. The Raider offense playing well in the first half. Rick Meyer will go to Jerry Porter, short touchdown, 21-10 Raiders, but the Jets come back down by 8, and Pennington going to work to Gerald Soule, 3 yards, touchdown. New York gets a 2-point conversion on a great grab by Anthony Beck, so it's tied at 24, and we're going to overtime. OT, nice call. The reverse. Santana Moss, couple of good blocks, 29 yards. He goes. The Jets in field goal position this time. Doug Bryan, he's all set. No problems like last week, and the Jets win 27-24.
And, you know, it was just a tribute to them and the effort that they put in today of not giving up and just keep sawing wood, and it ended up going our way.
In the overtime that we were going to, you know, not give it back. And obviously the offense did some good things, and Doug came in and then the field goal for us. I think it was kind of, that was a good thing. And it's a good game to win, no doubt about it.
It certainly was. They go to 3-6, still a long way to go. Now everybody has been waiting for the collapse of the Dallas Cowboys. Would it start today against the Buffalo Bills? The Bills, a desperate team. The theme to this week in the AFC East. First quarter, trouble. Bledsoe, he had no time to throw the football all day. Fumbles. Leroy Glover has it. That leads to a Quincy Carter finding former Giant Dan Campbell. Touchdown pass, 7-0, and that would actually be enough. The Dallas defense, again, just all over Bledsoe. You can knock Bledsoe all you want, but he has no time to throw the football. He fumbles again. The Cowboys go to 7-2 with a 10-6 win.
Offensively, we have not produced, and am I the trigger in that? Yeah, I'm the trigger in the offense, and you know, I've never hidden from that and never will hide from that. When we don't produce, I feel like it's definitely my fault.
Okay, time to check in with our 2 local studs now in the NFL. Andre Davis and Anthony Weaver. Davis out of Niskayuna and the Cleveland Browns against the undefeated Chiefs. KC's offense rolling again. First quarter, Priest Holmes touchdown, his second of the game. It's 14-3. How about Davis? Hey, 3 catches, 35 yards. This one is good for 20, but the offense not enough to beat Kansas City. I think we all should start believing maybe they can go undefeated. I don't know. Trent Green looking for Eddie Kennison. Got him, touchdown, 41-20. They are still unbeaten. Rams and the Ravens tonight. Number 98, Anthony Weaver, out of Saratoga, coming off his best performance of the a week ago. Marshall Faulk back for the Rams, scoring the first 2 touchdowns of this football game. Weaver, has he been a factor? You bet. He bats down a Mark Bolger pass there, and this has been nothing but a defensive game tonight. Adam Archulewicz breaking through, sacking Mark Bowler 43 yards later. It's 21-19 Rams at the half. Third quarter, here comes Weaver again. This is his 5th sack of the season. We've got a good one brewing. There you see the score. The Rams have just gone back on top, 24-22 in the fourth. More football coming up a bit later. To the NASCAR scene, Matt Kenseth, who was leading the standings since the 4th week of the season, tried to clinch it today in North Carolina Speedway in the Pop Secret 400. He entered the 400-mile race with a 228-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Early on, some hard driving. Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon. Newman gives Gordon a little bump, so Jeff waits for the corner and then spins him out. Newman would still finish 5th. Gordon would finish 20th. As for the winner, it's Bill Elliott. But the big winner today is the guy I was telling you about, Kenseth. By finishing 4th today, he clinches the Winston Cup points title.
Unbelievable. You know, it's beyond my wildest dreams. I ever thought I'd ever have the opportunity to sit in one of these cars, much less be the champion. So I'm just so appreciative to my team, my owners, my sponsors, everybody that puts this thing together. I'm just real lucky. There's thousands of race car drivers out there. I'm sure that can do a better job than I have, and not many people get this opportunity, and I'm just real thankful to be in good equipment with good people working on it.
All right, let's round out our first segment tonight with a little golf. Final wrap of the PGA Championship in Houston. Chad Campbell. Chad Campbell, not exactly a household name. He had the lead going into the final 18 holes today. Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh nowhere in sight. And Campbell comes through again, shoots a 3-under par 68. He wins by 3 shots over Charles Howell III, Vijay Singh, and Davis Love tied for 5th. Tiger Woods finished 26th. Tomorrow we're down at Jillian's for Monday Night Football. Hope you can join us starting at 7 o'clock. When we come back, a recap of Super Bowl weekend in high school football. But first, NBA highlights from the Nets and the Celtics. We'll have the rest of Week 10 of the NFL, including what was, at least on paper, expected to be one of the best games of the day in Tennessee between the Titans and the Dolphins. It's all next on Big Board Sports. Welcome back. More now, as promised, from Week 10 in the NFL. Headline game, so they say Tennessee. Steve McNair and the Titans against Brian Greasy and the Dolphins. And McNair wins the battle easily. First quarter, dumps it off to Tyrone Calico, 12 yards, and it was 7. Maybe a long day for Wannstedt and company. McNair throwing again, this time Justin McCarron's another touchdown. Greasy was awful. Tennessee rolls 31-7. In Carolina, Panthers hosting the Tampa Bay Bucks. There was some guarantees floating around in this game. Panthers up in the 4th quarter, but Brad Johnson going deep. Keenan McCardell with a great catch, and Tampa takes the lead. Simeon Rice is the guy who guaranteed the win, but Carolina answers. Jake Delhomme to Steve Smith in the last minute. And how about Carolina under John Fox? 27-20. That's the second time they've beaten Tampa Bay. Elsewhere, 7-1. Indianapolis at 1-7. Jacksonville, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison. They do it very well, 7-0. 4th quarter, Colts up 6 when Byron Leftwich finds Jimmy Smith. He's gone, 43 yards scored. Jags up 21-20. Indy kicks a field goal. They retake the lead, and then Jacksonville answers. Actually, it's Fred Taylor, and this is a heck of a run. 32 yards for the lead and the win. 28-23. How about that? Meanwhile, the Washington Redskins were desperate and hosting Seattle. Seattle takes the lead early. Sean Alexander, 1-yard run. It's 14-3 Seattle, but the Redskins come back. Patrick Ramsey hits Rod Gardner with a 14-yard touchdown pass. We are tied at 17. Still tied in the 4th. Ramsey throws backwards to Gardner. We got the razzle-dazzle. Wide open is Tung candidate. Touchdown, Redskins win 27-20. Elsewhere to Minnesota at 1-7. San Diego Chargers struggling under Marty Schottenheimer. So you know what? Give Doug Flutie the start. Why not? Go on to David Boston, touchdown, and Flutie with 2 TDs on the day. I love number 7. Look at that. Broken play, ad-lib, Flutie, get into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers win 42-28. Good stuff with Flutie at quarterback. Here's the rest of it as we round out week number 10. Pittsburgh finally 28-15 over Arizona. Cincinnati 34-27 over Houston. And Detroit over Chicago. Not the best game of the day. 12-10 final. To the NBA, the defending Eastern Conference champion New Jersey Nets were in Detroit tonight. Pistons now being coached by the well-traveled Larry Brown. And here we go. Second quarter, Jason Kidd, nice bounce pass to Kerry Kittles for the jam. And the Nets are up by 1 for Byron Scott's team. Fourth quarter, Corliss Williamson, nice pass to Ben Wallace for the slam. And the Pistons win the game 98-84. In Boston, Celtics and the Kings and the C's may have a better team without Antoine Walker. Here's the break, and this is Mark Blunt finishing things off nicely. Fourth quarter, Kedrick Brown to Vin Baker inside. Good move by the big man. He led the way with 18 points and 13 rebounds, and the Celtics win. Final score 91-82. When we come back, it's wall-to-wall high school football, and James Allen from the Troy Records will join us to preview the state tournament, which is coming up. And we'll do it next on Big Board Sports. And welcome back. The University of Albany football team has done it again for the second straight year. They are NEC champions. For now, you have to put a co in front of that. But if Monmouth loses to St. Francis on the road Saturday, unlikely. That could change. They could win the championship outright regardless. The Danes have pieced together another outstanding season. Here we go. Windy, cold day at University Field. Robert Morris in town. Albany up 7-0. And look there, Rohan Vidal, 4 touchdown, and it's 13-0. The extra point was blocked. Third quarter, key play of the game. Albany punting from the 3 and into the win. So the Danes will do the smart thing, take the safety. No, punter Stan Zielinski sees daylight. He runs. He's got the first down. Albany makes it count. Same drive, which turned out to be a 99-yard drive. Gary Jones caps off with a 1-yard run. He ran for 195 yards yesterday. Danes win 27-7. Here's Coach Ford on his victory and the play by Zielinski.
It wasn't a call that we made on the sideline. It was something that he improvised with, and since he made the first down, I think it was a great, great play. If he hadn't have, though, we might have thought something different about it.
I woke up this morning, walked outside, I saw the win, and I was like, yep, it's definitely going to be a running day. So I was ready, and our offensive line did a great job, made some huge holds. John Jordan just pounded their middle linebacker all day, and, it showed in the third and fourth quarters.
And the Danes will close it out at Towson non-conference game on Saturday. Now to high school football, and this was Super Bowl weekend in Section 2. We'll start with Shenendehowa and Troy hooking up in Class AA, and it was just 10-0 at the half, and then Shen got it rolling. Tyler Zaranda, 8 yards on the run here. They're so big and strong up front. 17-0 Plainsman. Later, Jason Downey throws, and Jason Conwall hauls it in, another touchdown. Shenendehowa would win it 30-0.
We do have a lot of kids that are, one-way players, and we still were pretty fresh in the fourth quarter, which answers to a little bit that question about what's going to happen when you have to play a full football game. So, we're looking forward to the challenge now.
Class A title game Saturday night at Toga. Big crowd on hand. Great finish. Fourth quarter, Amsterdam down 12-7. It's Mike Altieri. He's been doing it all year. Second score of the game, and the Rugged Rams tack on a 2-pointer and win 15-12.
It's a great, great win for us, and I'm so proud of the kids, like I said, with all the adversity they've gone through. And I like to say that we thank Glens Falls for a great, great game. The kids were gentlemen. I think it was 2 hard teams playing some hard-nosed football, like you said. And it was just, it ended up the Section 2 championships, and I think it wound up being the best game.
Class B, Lansingburg and Ravena. Ravena beat Berg back week 1, not yesterday. Matt Weber throwing deep. Kareem Jones is out there, and they'll like that play at Syracuse next season where Jones will play. 14-0, and this was really all Lansingburg. Jones gets in from a couple of yards out. He had 157 on the ground, and the Knights win 31-13. They'll play at Peru next weekend.
We lost those guys a few months ago, and, we knew Ravena was going to be a firm test, and I told the kids that, in life, sometimes you never get a second chance, and, this is your chance to come back and prove to not only to yourselves, but to everyone in the community that, Lansingburgh football is still on top.
And that is absolutely gospel truth there, Coach. The Class C Super Bowl was played Friday night at Shaker High School. This was a 9-0 Hoosick Falls team, 8-1 Waterville lead at Shaker Friday night. First half, Vliet quarterback Nick Pontour, 7 yards to Joe Conasec. Cannoneers up 14-7 at the half. Second half, here come the Panthers. 28 unanswered points, the game breaker, about 8 minutes to go. Chad Wysocki, 27 yards to Jim Whedon, 28-14. Your final 35-14. Hoosick Falls wins the Class C title. They are indeed headed to the state playoffs.
The right way, and for us we got a sportsmanship award from the officials, and to be undefeated. I can't tell you how good I feel about my kids and the job that the other coaches and I are doing. It's great.
And we also congratulate Cambridge tonight, Class D Super Bowl winner. They shut out Salem on Saturday 12-0. So it's time for the state playoffs. Who has the best chance of making the serious run to the state championship of the Carrier Dome in a few weeks in Syracuse? Here's our analyst, James Allen from the Troy Record, with a rundown of the big weekend.
Well, Shenendehowa, I think, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they showed how balanced, how strong they are. Troy stood up to them, gave them a test. But, having, offensive and defensive starters only on one side of the ball really started to take its toll in the second half. And, they're going to make for a very formidable team in the playoffs no matter who they face. Amsterdam, they gutted out another one. Mike Altieri, he's got to be a candidate for, guttiest player, toughest player. He does it again, comes through with a fourth-quarter touchdown when it looks like Glens Falls is going to sneak away with a nice victory, 12-7. He scores the winning touchdown. Defensively, another strong effort from them. Lansingburgh, they've, since that first loss, they really showed that, it motivated them. It really provided the whole onus for the rest of their season, and they improved. Peak in their first week of the season, and that's unfortunate for them, but it really provided the motivation for Lansingburgh, and they showed not only do they have Kareem Jones, but if they have to, Matt Weber can throw the ball, 99 yards in the first half. The defense stepped up. Hoosick Falls, another team that's been kind of waiting for this opportunity. Even the guys that don't even play at all have been waiting to play against Waterville. They got down. They showed their balance, and really where they improved the most was their offensive and defensive line. They got pushed around a couple of key games last year, including against Waterville. Not this time. Class D, I think Cambridge was a little bit surprised, but how formidable and really Salem stood up after giving up the first 2 touchdowns of the game. But it's tough to beat a team you just beat a couple of weeks ago. And Zach Luke, got some time in a quarterback. Del Shoyanos had a great game as a running back and as a defensive player. And I really like Zach Wilbur. I think he's a very underrated player. And I really think that they're on their way to the Dome.
All right, James Allen with his analysis every Sunday night here on Big Board Sports. Now the Albany Conquest, they have a new coach. He's got a resume loaded with playing experience. First off, he's Steve Matthews. Not exactly a household name, but he did play, if you recall, quarterback in the NFL, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Been coaching in the Arena League since 2001, and last year he was the assistant coach and offensive coordinator in AF2 Memphis. His coaching philosophy kind of coincides with his playing days.
Always just run, hit, and hustle. And that's one thing I've heard. You want guys to hustle. Don't want to turn the ball over on offense. Hit on defense, attack on defense. And I know it's very, very important to protect the quarterback. Maybe because I was one, but I definitely think that's the key to the game.
And we have not forgotten about soccer. This is regional play. We congratulate Liverpool. They actually knocked out Columbia, unfortunately. In high school girls soccer, you've got all of these teams advancing. Burn Hills, Tamarack, and Shenendehowa, 1-0, all moving on. When we come back, another Sunday batch of the plays of the day, and the local college basketball scene is ready to roll around here. We'll check in with both Siena and Albany next on Big Board Sports. Normally, when the Harlem Globetrotters come to town, you think of family fun and lots of laughs. Well, the setting a little different on Tuesday night when the competitive version of the Trotters showed up to take on the Siena men's team in a preseason game at the Pepsi, and before Siena knew what hit them, they were down 22. Former NBA player Cedric Ceballos finished with 20 points, and he dropped in a number of three-pointers. Hard to gauge Siena in a game like this. I tell you what, the freshman guard Mike Beers out of Broad Alban-Perth can flat out shoot the ball. Watch out for him this season. The final score turned out to be 108-75. Lanier says when the season starts, he'll narrow down his playing group.
We're going to play a 9-man rotation. I can't kid myself for thinking we're going to be this up and down, wearing you down, playing 12 guys. And I'm stupid if I think I'm going to change what's got us to the postseason the last 2 years.
Meanwhile, at Albany, the Danes are getting ready for their season opener against Siena at the Pepsi on November 21st. Jamar Wilson, Levi Levine both return with a year experience, and the inside game will be improved. Wilson already looking forward to the matchup with the Saints.
I mean, everyone is looking forward to it. It's a real big game, and you know, a lot of people is doubting us, and they always think that Albany's not going to come to play. But I think the way we're playing in practice, we're doing a good job, and you know, I wouldn't be excited at all if we get a W this year.
I think this will probably be the last year where we'll have to rely on some young kids to play heavy minutes, and a year from now we'll have a veteran group, and we'll have some very talented players to put on the floor.
And finally, a big board sports show not complete without the popular plays of the day.
6 on the shot clock with the curl. Using the left hand. Stick back jam, big starter. Oh, that was wicked nasty.
That's when they did all the damage. Randall L. is deep.
Fine drive.
He'll get a shot, too. Plenty of grass. This is where he's dangerous.
He's got it. He's got something running.
And Juan Randall L. Heartburn waiting to happen.
Tony Gonzalez didn't wait for a call. He dumped it first. Now we're going to have a discussion here.
Here's Leftwich throwing. Knocked up in the air. Twice and caught.
Green steps away from pressure. Throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Johnny Morton. Number 4 this year for Morton, the former star at Southern California. And we've got an injured Cleveland.
And there was some of the plays that made this Sunday special in the world of sports. Is the lineup for next week. Giants and the Eagles, Cowboys, Patriots, and Albany, and it's both the men and the women's preview, and we hope to have both men's coaches, Lanier and Brown, with us live in the studio. And what's the update on the Ravens? 30-22, St. Louis Rams on top of the Ravens. That's the update on the Sunday nighter. And that is it. We've updated everything tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it. For our entire staff, I'm Rodger Weiland. So long, everybody. We'll see you back here next Sunday night for another edition of Big Board Sports. Good night.
The season ain't over. It's just about starting.